Hi, my name is Olivier Girardot, I'm a music composer and a sound designer. And today you're going to join me taking my first steps into the mysterious world of game design with Unreal Engine. The goal is to learn how to implement sound into a game and to experiment to see how things work. So I'm going to try a few simple things like adding a background atmosphere. This shouldn't be too hard. But also footstep sounds allocated to different surfaces. This might not be as simple as I imagine it. Welcome to my first steps into the Unreal Engine episode 1. Let's dive right into it. Here is what my level looks like so far. Bear in mind that these are my very first steps into the Unreal Engine. So this is like the default kit that I'm using with a third-person player. I just added a ceiling to make it an underground place, and a few textures on the walls, floor, and different objects. Sorry about the light. It's very dark, but I will try to fix that later. So the first thing I did after decorating the place was to add my background sound atmosphere. I just randomly chose one from my library for testing. It's pretty simple. You just need to drag the cue into the room, and the sound will play once you launch the game. It is not assigned to any particular object, so the player will hear it as it was created wherever they stand in the room. One important thing though is that I wanted to make it loop and not stop after one play. First, what you have to do in order to play a sound in Unreal Engine, if I understand correctly, is to create a cue. Here is what the cue for my underground sound loop looks like. Here is your wave that you have to link to an output. And to make it loop, you have to insert this functionality called looping and connect it between the sound and the output, like so. Okay, let's try it. Whoa, that's pretty dark. This place needs some light. This is not an Unreal tutorial, so I'm going to skip that part and go directly to the sound part. Now, let's add a sound to this magnificent torch. Let's create a cue like we did for the background sound and make it loop. Then, we just need to drag the cue on the torch. Let's give it a try. Okay, we seem to be hearing the torch very loud and everywhere in the room. We have to fix that. You can do that by selecting the cue assigned to the torch, and you will find all the characteristics of the sound behavior on the right panel. There, you can adjust the volume played and the radius of the effect. Let's try it now. Cool, it works, but it would probably work better with a first-person player. Okay, let's move on to the footstep sounds. This is a tricky part. It's actually not that hard to assign footstep sounds directly to the character, but in that case there is only one set of footsteps which will be the same no matter which surface the character is walking on. Let's have a look at how the footsteps cue work. So here I placed 5 different footsteps in the snow sounds, which are linked to a random control before it sends a random footstep sound through the output every time this cue is triggered. Again, this is not a tutorial, my knowledge is too weak for that. I am just sharing my first attempts at sound integration. So the goal is to assign different footstep sounds to different surfaces. For that, you have to create material classes that you will assign to the various surfaces in the game. Here I created two that I called Snow and Stone. Then there are all sorts of things to set up, but I won't go into details. Then you have to create a trigger directly on the character for when the feet hit the ground. I will do that for the run animation. Here I had already programmed the snow footsteps to the character, but in this case it will only play the snow footsteps regardless of the surface, since the footstep sounds are assigned to the character and not the surface. So instead of assigning a specific sound to the character, I will assign what is called a notify, and I will create a new one that I will call footsteps. I will place this trigger on both feet when they hit the ground in the character's run loop. Then there are all sorts of crazy stuff to assign the surfaces to the game, and even crazier stuff to assign the sounds to these surface types. I didn't understand everything, I just stupidly followed some tutorials, but I will want to get into it because that is the whole point of me getting into the Unreal Engine. There is a bunch of stuff you have to do in regards with the character's running animation. For that, you have to open the character's event graph and insert all sorts of triggers, events, and what is called actors. Here is what it looks like. There is the player character thing, the actor location thing, then some other crazy things, and then at the end there are the different actions that trigger the sound to play according to the surface. Like I said, this is not a tutorial. By the way, there are 3 of those play sound at location things because I added a third surface in addition to snow and stone, which is gravel. Anyway, let's test this. Okay, the snow works. The stone too, except that the sound I chose is really crappy. Nothing here. Snow again. And then gravel here. Oh yeah, nothing happens when the character jumps because I haven't assigned any sounds to this action. Okay, let's go by the fire again. There are some crazy sounds in this cave. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, put a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And also, please check out my Patreon page. I will put a link in the description below. See you soon. Bye bye.